Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another live stream. I sure missed you guys. I know it's been a while. It's been over a week since I've been out here. As you guys already know, for longtime viewers, I had some family in town, mainly my mom's, and I was busy with my mom and other family members, just doing the whole touristy family thing. And but here, I'm back. I'm finally back. So I hope you guys are ready. I might still have a little rust, to get rid of, but we'll do that together as we go through the show. But just wanted to give a big shout out to everyone out there, and hope you guys are ready for another awesome live stream. And today we're going to be talking about basically a topic that you cannot get away from anymore these days, and that is, why is Mexico so expensive, to move to? Why is Mexico getting so expensive? What's going on? And, obviously it's not just about the expense, but it's the difficulty, that comes from moving to Mexico. And the reason I chose this topic to talk about this week was because, I just had my mom and family move, I just had my family, my mom, all that, out here. And as I was with them, these topics kind of just came about. Not that they're planning on moving out here or anything like that, but just think about it. They're coming from the USA. I'm with them, now 24/7. We're doing all kinds of things, and I'm constantly having to exchange US dollars in one shape, form, or another for pesos, and just doing the whole conversion, seeing the pricing, seeing all this stuff. It was a big shocker to me. So I can't imagine how much of a shocker it is to you. Not just that, there's been a bunch of other things, that I've been just kind of keeping an eye on very recently that have, just basically opened my eyes even further as to what's really kind of going on there. On top of that, the difficulty that comes from moving, not just moving to another country. That's a whole, endeavor on its own. But just moving. I mean, think about it. If you got to move from the place you're living in right now to another place. It could be even in the same neighborhood, same town, same state, whatever it is. It's still like a giant endeavor. So imagine that, again, you're moving from, let's say, Florida to California, or from California to Texas, or, from Chicago all the way down to Mexico, or Canada to Mexico, or whatever it is. Obviously, the further away you move, and the bigger the difference, from where you're moving from to where you're moving to, is, the bigger the difference is, the more difficult it's going to be. So when you combine that, plus the fact that now, Mexico is just not as cheap or as affordable as it used to be, it's just kind of creating this giant bomb that's basically about to explode here. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm not trying to dissuade anyone at all. I'm not, in fact, I'm always trying to persuade you guys in one shape, form, or another that if you're not happy with your situation, then you have to do whatever you got to do to make that situation better. Okay? It's up to you. So that's one thing I'm always talking about here on this channel, and I'm always trying to emphasize in one shape, form, or another. And so with that said, I'm always going to keep that in view. Yeah, sorry, by the way, guys, I'm a little distracted here because YouTube seemed to have changed its the landing page has changed a bunch of things over here, so it's kind of like a little weird for me here on my end until I figure out what's going on. But anyways, as I was saying, at the end of the day, things have changed. And the reality is that, they have changed, but not how you think they've changed. So, for example, yes, Mexico is, getting more expensive, but is it now not an option? Meaning, is it now all of a sudden, just because it's getting a little bit more expensive, is it now off of your radar and not expensive? Is the only reason you were moving to Mexico was to save a few bucks? Were you actually moving to Mexico for other reasons? All right. And so on and so forth. That's the reality of it, of what's going on here. Because if you're moving out to Mexico simply to save a few bucks, well, you might as well just stay where you're at and figure out a better way to save a few bucks where you're at. Okay. But if you're moving to Mexico, okay, because again, you want, a better lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle, freedom, things that we talk about here a lot, a different experience, a different culture. And I could go on and on, in fact, that's what we're going to do on the show today. Then, yeah, I mean, Mexico's an even better option today than it was before. But again, if the only reasons you're moving to Mexico is just to save a few bucks, then maybe that's not for you. So let me start off, on, my journey to figuring out that Mexico is actually getting expensive. Okay, I'm going to tell you why, first of all, why I am not really seeing, Mexico being as expensive as a lot of you guys are seeing it. The first thing is because, well, I've been living in Mexico for over 6 years now, and I not only do I speak Spanish, but I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, and so therefore, I don't know. I guess I have an ability. Just one of the things that I have is that I can assimilate to whatever situation a lot quicker and easier than most people. All right. And so moving to Mexico was one of them. So, even though I'm not 1,000,000%, I'm not 100% assimilated completely into Mexico, I'm pretty assimilated. And I feel like, I'm living out here like a Mexican. Not only do I have a Mexican wife, but I'm already starting to, speak in certain Mexican words and terms. And, I like a lot of Mexican things, whatever. I'm kind of like trying to be almost becoming an honorary Mexican in one shape, form, or another. But, I'm still American. I'm still Cuban. I still got my things. All right. And so, with that said, at the end of the day, one of the things that has helped me, assimilate even quicker throughout the years that I've been here has been the fact that, well, I've integrated within the economy as fast as I could. All right. Meaning that I started to get away from dollars and I started to get away from, just other currencies or whatever it is, a long time ago. So for a while now, for years, I've already been, kind of functioning in the peso economy, the Mexican peso economy. In fact, even if you out there in the audience, you want to hire me for a one-on-one, personalized consultation, I charge in pesos now. All right. Sure, you're paying me through my PayPal account and you're paying me in dollars or Canadian dollars or whatever you're paying me in. But eventually what happens is that money gets converted into pesos immediately. And what I did, a while ago, as the dollar to peso ratio, started to get further away from each other, is that I just stopped charging in dollars. The reason I would charge in dollars was to make it easier on you. But I started to realize very quickly a while ago, years, over a year ago or whatever, that, hey, I'm actually losing money here. So I just started charging in pesos because all I wanted was I want to have a certain amount that I want to get charged. I want to charge or I want to get paid for my services. Not just that, but whatever it is I do other things. I'm always doing things. But the point I'm making is that as things have been changing, well, so have I. So therefore, I haven't really seen too much of a hit. Of course, when I go to the grocery store, when I do certain things, obviously, I see the increase of prices, in pesos. So when I go to the grocery store, I used to spend, about 1,000 pesos, 1,200 pesos. All right, to get groceries. Now it's closer to 2,000 pesos, 1,800, 2,000 pesos. And so obviously I'm seeing the increase in price, but I'm also earning more income. So it's like, whatever. It's not that much of a disparity. Again, not just me, but most Mexicans. So in the last 6 years alone, the typical Mexican has doubled their income. The minimum wage has doubled. All right. And so the economy is growing in many ways. And one of the major ways it's growing is that, well, Mexicans are just making more money. So even though prices have increased here as well, due to inflation, due to, everything that happened and is going on in the world right now, whether it was a pandemic, whether it's all the wars, whether it's all the political strife, whatever's going on, whatever. All right. The reality is that, Mexico has, is no different than most other countries out there. They've experienced, their own inflation, their own situation. But what's been happening in Mexico is that as prices have increased, well, so has salaries. So has the amount of people, the pay that most people get, on a regular basis. So look, I'll give you another example. The other day I was in an Uber and I was just having a conversation with the Uber, and long story short, the guy's telling me, yeah, he works around 8 hours a day, and he usually makes around 1,000 pesos a day. Now think about that. You know what I mean? 1,000 pesos, okay? And you're working 5 days a week, 5 times 4, okay? That's, again, 5 times 20. I mean, all of a sudden, that's around 20,000 pesos. Let's say he works 6 days a week. Well, now we got 25,000 pesos, right? Or 24,000 pesos, give or take, all right? So that's how much a Mexican that works Uber makes. Now, obviously, if you're working for, again, let's say you're working for 7-Eleven, OXXO, the grocery store, even lower rung jobs or certain other jobs out there, you're getting paid even less. Or you could be getting paid even more. I have recently been following a lot of, Instagram Reels. I don't want to say TikTok because I don't have TikTok, but you know what I'm saying. All those little videos that you see, the shorts on YouTube, the Instagram Reels, whatever it is, of all these people with their these channels, these pages, where basically what they're doing, they are Mexicans, and they go to other Mexicans, and what they do on their TikTok or whatever is that they go and they ask other Mexicans what they make per month. And the reality is that, they're just going out there and asking random people on the street, doing all kinds of jobs. And I would say about 20% of the people that are asked on the street are making around 10,000, 12,000, 15,000 pesos, okay, a month. The reality is that most people are making 20, 25, 30, 35, even more a month, okay? So, again, that's changed dramatically. Most people, when I moved here 6 years ago, were not even close to making 20,000 a month. They were making half of that, like 10,000 a month. And just to give you some perspective, 10,000 a month is around, hold on, let me just do the conversion so you guys can see exactly how much it would be. Okay? But 10,000 a month is around 600 US dollars. Okay? So again, the average Mexican on the lowest end is making around $600. But if you're making, 20, now you're making, $1,200. Okay? And if you're making 25, now you're earning 1,500. Okay? So just give you in perspective there. Okay? So, when I was out and about with my mom and family members, and we were, I was just looking at the prices of things. Whether it was, a touristy item, like a magnet, that you would find, in the touristy area, like Mérida, Yucatan, boop, whatever, or, whatever bull crap, you know what I mean? A mug, a t-shirt, whatever it is. And I'm looking at the prices. The reality is that the prices really haven't changed much. But when I'm all of a sudden now, when I was doing the conversion, okay, for my mom or whatever, into dollars, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is expensive. This is pretty expensive for a t-shirt. Sheesh. This is expensive. How about this? I took out my mom to dinner. It was me, my mom, and Christian. Just 3 of us, okay? And we went to this place that, me and Christian go out to a lot. And we spend, here, I'm going to give it to you right now. We spend on the high end, we spend like around $25 when we go eat there. And that's expensive. And you know what I spent when I went there with my mom the other day? $71. $71. And all we had was like a bowl of pozole and a mojito. So each one of us had a mojito. She had pozole, I had pozole, Christian had some mole enchiladas, And I think we got one other taco or whatever. And that was $71. $71. And I was like, what the? What? So in dollars, it was expensive. In pesos, it was, 1,200 pesos. Which again, here, I got to bust out the calculator for this. But just to give you perspective, when 1,200 pesos, okay, by the way, that was at one time expensive, which now it's all right. It's okay. It's still expensive, but not as expensive, you know what I mean, as it used to be. But, back when it was just $1 to 20 pesos, that was $60. So right there, you know what I mean? It's like an $11 increase just in that one item. And there's like a lot of disparity with things, okay, here and there, that, are constantly, being thrown in your face when all you have is dollars. And especially if you're on a limited budget, on a limited, income. Now, it's not to say that you cannot live out here on $600. Of course you can. Plenty of Mexicans still live out here on $600. In fact, I keep telling you guys over and over again, what I make every month. I make like around 1,000, if I'm lucky, 1,500 a month. And that's enough to support me, Christian, and my dog. All right. And we get to go out and do things and just live a normal life. One of the luxuries, one of the things that I consider a luxury is the ability to be able to go to the grocery store and just buy whatever I want. Not have to constantly worry about, I can't buy this steak. I can't buy this can of beans. I can't buy XYZ because I can't afford it. So I'm still able to buy whatever I need whenever I need it. Okay. So that's, always a positive. But what I'm saying is that, at the end of the day, these are things that a lot of you guys have to, consider. And so what is it really that you're moving into Mexico for? Why are you moving to Mexico? So by the way, this is something that I'm also going to be talking about in a future video that I'm going to be dropping. Okay. It's not just, something I'm talking about here. But the reality is that you got to start really thinking about why you're moving out of the USA. Because look, what I was going to tell you guys earlier, which I just skipped ahead because I'm chatty Cathy, you know me, I can't shut up, was the fact that a couple weeks ago, so there's this channel on YouTube that I follow. It's this lady that she's an old Cuban lady, not an old Cuban lady, a Cuban lady in her 50s, 60s, okay? And what she does is that she just has a cooking channel, okay? It's just, her, doing cooking, and it's all Cuban. That's it. And she just has a, whatever, YouTube channel, nothing crazy. And, she does all kinds of things on the channel, obviously, besides cooking. So one of the things that she does is that, very recently, a few weeks ago, she went to a grocery store, okay? In fact, a grocery store that's in my neighborhood that I used to go to 11 years ago, 12 years ago when I still lived in Miami. Okay? So, Presidente Supermarket. Okay? That's what the place was called. But look, long story short, she just went there with her phone camera. All right? And she was just filming. Again, she was making a video for YouTube. But she was just going around and she was filming what was for sale, what was available at the grocery store. Okay, at the Cuban grocery store, okay? And, everything from eggs to meat to fruits and vegetables to everything. She went through everything, okay? And long story short, one thing that I noticed is that the prices were pretty on par with what I'm paying out here. Now, of course, there were certain things that were a little bit more expensive in the USA, like eggs. But again, a little bit, maybe 20% more expensive. Not 200%, just 20%. And there were a lot of other things that were a lot cheaper. And I was like, bro, you got to be kidding me now. And so, obviously, I started to think about, wait a minute, what's going on with the dynamics here? But as soon as you start going a little deeper, okay, into just cost of living, sure, food might be around the same price in certain areas in the USA as they are in Mexico in certain areas. Okay, so food is around the same price. But when you start looking at, let's just say rent, just rent alone. I rent a 2-bedroom home with a very large backyard where I have a dying garden. It's dying because of the heat and no rain, but that's another story for another day. But anyways, I have a large backyard where I have a garden, and I got, washing machine. I got all my things back there, and I got a large front yard with, a roof. That's where I'm keeping my plants these days, where Gizmo likes to lounge and take the sun in. Whatever. We got our own thing out there in the front. But anyways, large front yard, large backyard, 2 bedrooms, large living area, 1 bathroom, and a large kitchen. And I paid $350 for that. Okay? $350. And my rent is probably going to increase. So it's probably going to go from $350 to somewhere like $380 to $400. Okay? What can you get for $400 in the USA? Nothing. Again, I know people in Miami that are renting a room or a mother-in-law or an efficiency, again, just like a separate kind of room, on the outside of the house. Again, about maybe a little bigger than the room I'm in right now. Okay, and sure, it has like a small kitchen with a small little electric stove or whatever. A place where you can wash your hands and brush your teeth and wash your dishes. A small little bathroom, a place where you can maybe put a twin bed in. Again, a little bigger than the room I'm in right now. And they want to charge $1,300 for that. So literally 3 to 4 times, 3 times the amount of what I'm paying here for a whole house. So when you look at that, automatically it's like, oh, okay, cost of living, yeah, it would definitely higher over there. If you're going to have a car, which you need a car in the USA, I mean, I know people that are paying $800 for a car note. And some people have 2 or 3 cars in a household. And that's like 2 or 3, $700 to $800 car notes, plus insurance, plus rent, plus utilities, plus iPhones. So for example, I have a phone and I pay $15, I pay $10. In fact, hold on, let me give you the exact exchange rate. Okay, sorry, geez, all right, hold on. Okay, I paid $12. Okay, I paid $12 for a month of unlimited, unlimited data, unlimited phone calls, unlimited whatever. $12. Where in the USA, it's like $60, $70, $80. My internet bill, which has increased, okay? In fact, I'm going to give you what the price is at right now, is $35 US. Okay, $35 US. And again, I'm live streaming right now. It's coming. By the way, how's the live stream coming along? Pretty good quality, right? So again, I got, just again, how much are you paying for your internet? And so on and so forth. So, the reality is that you sure, I saw what was going on with the food, and I could go on and on about why, the food costs the same over there as it costs over here, or relatively the same. But what about everything else? And so when you come into Mexico, believe it or not, it's still a viable option. Yes, it's getting more expensive, of course. But you got to look at what is actually getting more expensive. And what are your, expenses? What are your personal expenses? Okay? So, for me and Christian, we live a pretty humble life. And when you start adding up all of our expenses, the reality is that our biggest expense is food. That's it. Okay? And Christian doesn't eat that much, okay, compared to me. All right? So I eat for 3 Christians. All right? So, just to give you an idea of what's going on when it comes to that. So, obviously, it's already difficult to move, no matter where you're moving. Like I said earlier in the show, even if you're just moving across the street, let alone moving to another country, speaking another language with another culture, it's already difficult to move. But obviously, as the prices start to increase on a bunch of things, and the dollar, whether it's the US dollar or the Canadian dollar, whatever currency you got over there, is losing value, okay, day by day. And the Mexican peso and the Mexican economy is gaining value, growing, getting stronger. Well, again, it's just making that move even more difficult. And so as the dollar is losing value, as the peso is gaining value, well, guess what? Even the typical Mexican doesn't really give a crap, you know what I mean, about you coming out here spending your dollars. Now, of course, they want you to come out here, and of course, they want you to spend your dollars, and of course, they want you to contribute to the economy. But is it as necessary as it once was? You know, outside of touristy areas, not really. Not really. Again, when we were in Guadalajara, you know, a city of like 9 million people, you know, I just saw a handful of expats, gringos, immigrants, foreigners, a handful. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, again, it was a giant, thriving city, very rich. Again, you've seen the videos, and you're going to be seeing more videos of what it looks like out there. And you know, they don't need your dollars. They don't need you at all. In fact, you need them. You know, a lot of Mexicans, you know, are earning a lot of money there because they work for U.S. companies that are now headquartered or stationed or have some sort of hub in that city. And not just that city. You can go to Monterrey, you can go to Mexico City, and there's a bunch of other areas like that. Okay? And so, you know, it's a lot of things like that, you know, that are, you know, things that you got to consider when you're moving to Mexico. As maybe like one time in the past, you would think to yourself, oh, I would love to move to Europe. And obviously, you're moving to Europe for a better quality of life compared to what you got in the USA. But you already know that, you know, hey, it's going to cost you some money. It's going to be probably just as expensive or more expensive to live in Europe. Well, Mexico, you know, I'm not saying it's going to get as expensive, okay, as Switzerland, all right? Don't worry about that. It's not, okay? But it's not as affordable as it used to be. So with that said, you know, why are you moving out here? You know, why are you moving to Mexico? And so, you know, for a lot of people out there, again, the answer is very easy. I have met many people out there. Shout out to you guys out there in the audience, you know, that I've met, that, you know, have actually, you know, are actually moving out here. And you guys are my age or younger, and you're moving out here because you want to raise your kids out here. Okay? I don't want to get too detailed on that. You guys already know what's going on over there. But you guys know, especially if you got kids, you know how school is in the USA these days. You know what's going on over there, you know, with the education system. What's going on, again, with just the complexity of the whole environment, okay, of everything. So a lot of people that are raising kids, they got kids, you know, they're like, hey, I don't want my kids to be raised in this. I don't want my kids to continue suffering in this. I don't want my kids to be around this stuff. Whatever it is. Again, I'm not going to get too detailed. You guys can make your own conclusions here. So a lot of people are just basically saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm moving to Mexico. All right, because I know my kids over there, you know, they're not going to get any of this, you know, fake education. You know, they're actually going to be learning math and English and Spanish and history and this and that and they're probably going to be learning, you know, how to play well with others. They're going to be learning things like morals and respect and discipline and hard work and, you know, things that you're just not going to find in the USA these days. You know, I don't, you know. Again, please, if I'm wrong, share with me how wrong I am in the comments or in the chat, okay? So the reality is that, you know, a lot of people are choosing, that's just one reason why people might want to move out here, okay? For a lot of people, it's the quality of life. You know, hey, you know, the fact that, you know, I've talked about it before. You know, I've made episodes on it, you know, talking about mental health. You know, some people are just moving out here, you know, to get away from the toxicity, the toxic environment, okay, of what it is, you know, to live out there, you know, in the USA these days. You know what I mean? Look, I'm sorry. I just got a little notification from YouTube here that I shouldn't be talking about these things. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I just got a little notification here. All right, hold on a second. Let me deal with this. Anyways, I see YouTube's been making a lot of changes lately, all right? By the way, I approve, okay? I'm a big fan of YouTube. I am not one of those guys that's always like poo-pooing on, oh, the censorship and the this and the that and the that. No, listen, man, okay? Are you kidding me? I love the fact that they give me this platform, where I can reach so many people and talk to them about these things or whatever it is that's on my mind, all right? And have an open forum so that you guys can also chat and talk, and we can all learn from each other. So, but anyways, as I was saying, at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that are moving out here to Mexico these days that are moving out here for other reasons than, hey, I just want to save a few bucks. Because the reality is that things have changed dramatically in the last 6 years, and especially in the last 4 years. I can't believe it's been 4 years already since, the pandemic. Things have definitely changed a lot. The world has been turned upside down. I feel like we're living in another, I don't know, like another universe, another dimension. In fact, hold on, hold on. Check out the beach there. Here, you guys can keep an eye on the beach while, all right. But what was I going to say is that, by the way, if you guys are enjoying everything on the show today, and you guys want to hear me rant about other things, please check out Jose Unleashed. As soon as I'm done with this program here, we're going to go over to that channel and we're going to be talking about other stuff. In fact, what are we talking about today on today's show? We're going to be talking about the reality of living in the modern day matrix. Okay? And, things have changed. Things have changed dramatically, all right? And for a lot of people out there, we don't even recognize, the world that we're living in anymore. But, hey, it is what it is. But as I was saying, a lot of people are looking for a way out, are looking for a solution, to this problem that they're facing, which is, everyday life these days, okay? And one of those solutions, okay, is, hey, I got to get out of here. I gotta remove myself from this situation. I got to find something better. And that's where a country like Mexico comes in. Now, again, you don't have to move to Mexico. There's tons of countries out there. In fact, I get tons of, comments all the time. It's like, oh, why are you always talking about Mexico? People can just move to Thailand, or people can just move to blah, blah, blah. What? Okay, move there. Move there. The thing that I think a lot of people find, appealing about moving or living in Mexico is the fact that, the USA is right there. So like I said, I got my family, they just came to visit me. I got tons of friends and family that come visit me all the time. If I'm living in Thailand, literally where it's, probably 8 o'clock at night right now, in another, side of the planet, no one's coming to visit me out there. Period. And for me to come visit, it's even more difficult. On top of that, you think Spanish is difficult? Have you tried to speak in Thailandese or Asian or whatever they speak over there? Yeah, exactly. All right. Plus, again, if you think that these, cultural differences in Mexico are difficult for you, go to another planet. Go to India, go to Asia, go over there, you can see how different things are. Now, again, I'm not poo-pooing on that. There's tons of people, that find all that appealing. For me in particular, I would love, to go visit these countries and experience these cultures. Who knows? I might, me and my wife might fall in love with some of these cultures if we ever go visit them one day. But, when I was choosing, hey, I got to get out of the USA and I got to find another place to live in, for me, I stuck to what I knew. Yo soy cubano, yo hablo español, yo vengo de Miami. So what I said there, it was like, hey, I'm Cuban, I speak Spanish, and that's my culture. So for me, immediately, right off the bat, I was looking at all of the Americas. Okay? I definitely wasn't moving to Canada. I've been to Canada, not a fan of the cold, not a fan of the poutine. By the way, I love poutine, but I couldn't eat that shit every day. But when I looked at, every other country, Mexico, Ecuador, El Salvador, Argentina, I could go on and on. I was like, okay, Colombia, whatever. I was like, all right, yeah, I could make one of these places my new home. Eventually, I just settled on Mexico. That's a whole story. We'll touch on that on another episode, even though I've already touched on that and talked about that in other, shows before. But I ended up choosing Mexico, and it was the best decision I ever made. And I know that if I would have landed, just about any other Latin American country, I would have been very happy as well. And it was simply because, well, I was raised a certain way, and it didn't matter what part of the USA I lived in, I can never, fit in or feel at home. And it wasn't until I moved to Mexico that I felt at home. I felt at ease. I felt great. I felt wonderful. I'm happy. Okay? And, this is why I love Mexico so much. Because as an American, even though, again, my parents are Cuban and, that whole deal, and I was born in Miami, whatever, I'm American. But as an American, a very proud American, okay, I still got my American flag here. I'll show you, okay, how proud I am to be an American, all right? All right, I still got my American flag here with me, all right? So don't be getting it twisted out there. All right, I hate when people, say I'm a traitor or whatever. By the way, I don't care what people say, but I'm just saying, people are always gonna be people. But people are like, oh, why'd you abandon the USA? Why didn't you, why don't you stay here in the USA and make America great again, or or build back better, or whatever it is? It's like, listen, man, they abandoned me. I didn't abandon them. All right, I don't want to get into all that. But the point I'm making is that as an American, there's a bunch of values that we, hold true. One of them being freedom. And I recognized a long time ago that we don't got no more freedom in the USA. It's just again, a figment of our imagination. As George Carlin liked to say, all right, in order for you to believe the American dream, you got to be asleep. All right, that's it. The only time you're ever going to see the American dream is in your dreams, literally, sleeping, okay? But, besides that, the fact that, a lot, what is it, like in The Wolf of Wall Street, when this guy, Matthew McConaughey, was talking to Leo at the beginning of the movie, and he was just talking about how everything is a fugazi. It's just fake. It's just phony. It's just false. It's just out there in the... It's the same thing. This whole idea that as an American, you're actually living in a free country. Are you kidding me right now? Are you freaking kidding me right now? The USA is as close to tyranny as you're going to get at the moment. Now, again, I know it's not Cuba. It's not North Korea. I'm not saying it's that. But, don't be getting it twisted, with, what freedom actually really means. And so when I moved to Mexico, okay, and I started living out here in Mexico, and I saw the real freedom, okay, I really got to see, freedom. I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is what I've always wanted. This is what I've always dreamed of. The good and the bad. This is what I was raised with over there in Miami, the freedom. Okay? Again, it's not all good, okay, but it's not all bad. In fact, it's mostly good. Definitely mostly good. And, when I moved out here and I started living out here, I quickly realized, it's like, oh, well, wait a minute. This is the actual freedom that we've all been yearning for, that we just don't have anymore in the USA, that has been long gone. Okay? And out here, well, I mean, it's still, what is it? Flourishing. Okay? Very, very well. All right, let's take a little break so I can breathe. And also, shout out to Average Joe with the $20 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Mom was expensive when she came to visit, okay? But so sorry if that's a little too loud there. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all you guys in the audience. And I definitely appreciate Average Joe with the $20 super chat. And he has a question. And he says, Average Joe asks, coming down with the family in a few weeks, would really like just bring some gold to sell for pesos instead of swapping dollars for pesos. Would this even be an option? I mean, it's actually a pretty good question, okay? So things have changed dramatically with that as well, okay? I'll give you, here, hold on, I'm going to show you some, I think I still have it here. I didn't put them all away, right? Hey, where's my... Yeah, I think I put them all away. All right, hold on. I wanted to show you my... whatever. Here, I got this this older Mexican silver Libertad. Okay, I got to get a new one out to have out here on display to show you guys whenever I'm talking about these things. But anyways, okay, what I was going to say is that when I first moved to Mexico years ago, I used to be able to go to the bank, okay, and the Banco Azteca to be exact, and I used to just go with cash and be able to buy these things. That's it, just cash. Then as the years went on, okay, all of a sudden now I needed ID. All right, whatever. You know, show my passport, whatever. I needed my passport. But then as more years went on, they ain't selling it to foreigners anymore. So I had to go through my wife. So I basically had to give her the money, and then she had to present her Mexican ID, and then they would sell it to her. So in order for you to purchase gold and silver these days, it's a lot more difficult than what it used to be, okay? You can still do it through a third party, wink, wink, okay? But you yourself as a foreigner cannot. That's purchasing. Now, selling it, I would assume it's the same thing. Now, what could you do, you know, when it comes to, like, let's say you want to sell your gold or your silver? Well, there are private dealers out there. Tons of private dealers, all right? And these private dealers, you know, they'll be more than happy to buy or sell your gold. You know, so I know plenty of my friends, you know, expats, immigrants, whatever, and they buy their silver coins, but they don't buy them at the bank. They buy them from the private silver dealer, the private entity out there, and they will also buy it from you. But this is something that you got to go out there and seek on your own. It's not like, you know, they're out there all over the place. And you got to remember, you know, it's just like anything else. If you're trying to sell your gold in the USA, you know, it depends on who you're dealing with. You know, it will depend on what you're going to get. You know, whether you're going to get, whether you're going to get close to spot or a lot under spot. So this is my suggestion to you. You know, for the time being, bring your dollars. Once you're here, once you're settled in, then start buying gold and silver. Okay? Because, you know, again, you know, traveling with gold and silver, that's very valuable. You know, they might take it away from you at the border, for crying out loud. You know, if you're not careful, depending on how much you got. You know, you can cross with around $10,000 in value. But again, it's up to the discretion of the border agent, you know, what value they're going to use. And I could go on and on. So don't leave it in the hands of others, okay? So another option, you know, I don't talk about this that much anymore, but I used to talk about this all the time. But you can also use cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, whatever. Not as an investment, but simply put, you know, right now, let's say you need to move money over here. You know, well, you can simply put your money into cryptocurrency, cross the border, get to where you're going to get settled in. And once you're settled in, convert that back into whatever, you know, whether it's pesos, gold, silver, whatever. Okay? So there's many options for you to kind of look into right now. But yes, of course, if you bring your gold, you know, your silver, your valuables, yeah, you know, every Mexican knows fully well what the value of gold and silver are, okay? And you're going to find lots of people that will be your buyer or seller, okay? But again, you got to now use your own discretion, okay? Obviously, if I'm getting my gold and silver from the bank, I know it's well vetted, okay? And I hate even saying this, but I trust the bank in this case, okay? That, hey, I'm getting, I'm getting actual gold and actual silver. But if you're dealing with a private dealer, and you're buying, well, you don't know unless you actually test it and you know exactly what you're looking for, if you're going to get, you know, what you're actually paying for. And when you're selling it, like I said, it's up to the discretion, okay, of the dealer. Now, I'll give you an example. Right now, and I know this for a fact because, you know, I'm in this world a little bit, even though I don't talk about it much, not anymore. I'm in this world, okay? So, look, right now, I don't know. I mean, I think it's changed, okay? But a couple of days ago, okay, I was asking, you know, my Mexican friend that's into this world, and how much is he buying gold at right now? And they're buying gold at 650 pesos a gram. Okay, so they're buying gold at 650 pesos a gram, which is around 39 US dollars a gram. Okay, so let me see right now what gold is at per gram. See, look at that. It's at 75. Okay, it's at $75 a gram. Okay? So, I don't know what to say there, all right? No, pesos are not backed by gold. I never said that they were. I never said that they were. I don't know where you heard that in what I was saying right now. I said that banks in Mexico sell gold and silver. I never said that the national currency is backed by gold or silver. It's not. Okay? It's fiat currency. Okay? Just like in the US and everywhere else. Okay? Meaning backed by nothing. Backed by debt. Whatever. Okay? That's another story for another day. Okay? So right now, you know, a dealer is going to buy gold off of you for 39 US dollars a gram, and it's selling for 75. Okay, so you make your own decision as to whether you want to convert your dollars into gold and bring gold over here and then do that. Like I said, my honest opinion, again, asking me what you are, what I would do is just, you know, again, get over here, and then once you're here, convert. And then once you convert, then you buy your gold and your silver, and it will retain its value. Look, like I said, I'm a gold, silver guy, okay? Crypto guy, I'm into all that stuff. By the way, I'm still very poor, okay? I'm just, you know, these things are meant, you know, to hold your value, man. That's it. You know what I mean? A lot of people get it all twisted and, you know, it's all this stuff. Oh, I'm going to get rich quick or what? No, listen. No. So look. Just to give you an example, a silver coin that I bought, you know what I mean, years ago at $15, you know, how much is it going for right now? It's already at $30 today. I cannot believe that silver is over $30 right now. Okay? Now, those dollars have lost value. Okay? But when you kind of do the math and you put it into pesos, you know, a silver coin is 665 pesos, okay? So what's 665? You know, right? Not 666, but whatever. Anyway, 665. Yeah, it's $40. $40. Okay? So this coin that at one point I bought, you know, I want to say, you know, about $20, $25 is now $40. All right? If I would have kept that in dollars, you already know it's already lost its value. If I would have kept it in pesos, it would have also lost its value. All right? So, because think about it, you know, 20 or 25 US dollars in pesos years ago was around 400 or 500 pesos. Okay? So again, if by buying silver, all of a sudden now I am 165 pesos richer. Or in the case of dollars, I'm over $10 richer. You know, $15 richer. So again, that's just gold and silver. And when it comes to cryptocurrency, look, again, you know, be careful with that. I'm a big proponent of all that stuff. I've mentioned it before in years past as you know, the fact that it saved my life multiple times. Okay. But again, why has it saved my life? Well, because I was able to, you know, keep my value in, you know, basically outer space. Okay, I'm trying to keep it in layman terms here, you know, on the blockchain, whatever, and, you know, away from prying hands, you know, and basically, you know, I was able to kind of keep my money, my value there. And, you know, even though I went through a lot of hard and difficult things, you know, well, it was always there. Where I actually lost, you know, physical gold and silver that I had. It was actually, you know, taken away from me. You can't take away the Bitcoin. You know, if you got digital dollars in your bank, they can take it away as well. Or freeze your account. Or whatever. Okay? So there's a value to all these things, okay? There's a real value to these things. All right? Cryptocurrencies, gold, and silver. And as the economy of the world and as things get worse and worse and worse, you're going to really see the value of these things, okay? So, for anyone that still poo-poos on gold and silver, man, you're in for a rude surprise, once the economy really tanks. Which could be tomorrow. It could be 6 months from now. It could be 6 years from now. But it's coming. It's happening. You can see it in front of your eyes. There's no denying it anymore. All right? So, oh, hells yeah. All right, we got Jimmy G with another $20 super chat. Shout out to you, Jimmy G. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Thank you. Jimmy G says, I'm getting my feet wet and working remotely from Guadalajara a month, I guess. I'm nervous about the drive from California. Do you have any resources or connections I can reach out to for travel questions? Yeah, I do actually. Well, hold on. Let me see. Yeah, I think I got a link to something here. Hold on a second. But anyways, Facebook. Okay, so man, I'm not a fan of Facebook, but a resource that everybody needs, whether you like it or not, when you're moving to Mexico, is Facebook. A lot of people wonder why Facebook is even still a viable thing and is still around. Well, the minute you leave the USA, and look, in the USA, people just use Facebook to complain and be toxic and hate on each other and share a bunch of memes and videos. But when you leave the USA, you see that Facebook is used for all kinds of things. So in Mexico especially, Facebook is used for just about everything. Facebook Marketplace is used. There's no Craigslist. A lot of the Facebook groups are used, for people to, communicate and gather information and so on and so forth. But what I was going to say is that on Facebook, there's a couple of groups, okay? Here, I'll show you guys real quick. Okay, see, there's one right there. On the road in Mexico. I'm going to provide the link in the chat. Okay, there's a few others, but, unfortunately, I get kicked out of these Facebook groups faster than you can even say them. Just because, a lot of people don't like what I have to say about many things. But all I'm saying is that you can join that group, and then there's other groups like it. And then in these groups, well, basically, again, on the road in Mexico, it's a bunch of foreigners like you, a bunch of immigrants, a bunch of expats that are, either asking for advice or they travel these roads on a, daily, weekly, monthly basis. So they have, basically, up-to-date information on everything. Okay, so that's my suggestion to you. Okay, is to start there. Okay, start there, especially because you're talking about crossing, all the way from where again? From California all the way to Guadalajara. So you're going to be driving down the West Coast. I'm not too familiar with the drive, because again, I've never driven, through all of Mexico. And then the people that I do know that have driven, they've driven on the East Coast. Or through the center of the country, not really through the west coast of the country. But regardless, it's a lot safer than a lot of people are led to believe. Everyone's always spreading all these lies and all these things. The reality is that a lot of times, what you got to worry about more than anything else is, rocks, from the mountains. Or, really, tight roads in certain mountainous regions. Or, cows and donkeys. Or, again, things that you would never really, consider being dangerous, okay? Not like the cartel, okay? It's just all kinds of things, okay? See, look, right there, here's one example. People are traveling through this major road and there's a protest, so they're blocking the road. So they'll basically say, hey, look, if you're going to be traveling through this road to get to Guadalajara, maybe take all these other alternate roads to get to your destination, because otherwise you're going to be sitting in traffic for God knows how long. Okay? All right. So just to give you an example as to, the things, all right? And they give you all kinds of tips, basically on how to get your tip, your temporary import permit for your car, where to go, how to get it, how to deal with cops, good cops, bad cops, checkpoints, what roads are safer, what roads are better maintained than others, what is the best route, again, from Southern California to Guadalajara, and I could go on and on, okay? And you can ask questions there. Anyways, that's my advice to you, is to go to, not just this group, but there's other groups like this, okay? So there's other groups that are named On the Road in Mexico or something like that. Check those groups out, start there, and they'll really, really, really be able to guide you. Basically hold your hand all the way down till you get to Guadalajara, okay? So hope that helps you out. But yeah, Facebook is your friend. It can also be your enemy, okay? Because again, a lot of these groups are filled with a lot of toxic, expats, all right, which don't make it any easier. But for the most part, like for example, the reason I recommend this group right off the bat is because they've never kicked me out of the group, and they basically allow people to post whatever they got to post on there, as opposed to like censorship, because it's like, hey, you're hurting somebody's feelings or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's my advice to you guys, is to, use Facebook. It can be your friend, okay? But here's the price of silver right now. See, look, Banco Azteca, they always have a price, but you can tell how volatile the price of silver is these days, because because I check this, almost daily. Out of 7 days of the week, I check it maybe 4 days, 5 days, give or take. I'm just always curious. But every time I see Banco Azteca, basically like this, with the little stars there, that really says a lot. Okay? So there's a website I use, to find the price of silver. Another website I use, to get the actual price of gold and silver. Okay, is this, for people that were asking me about that earlier. Curious about that. So get goldprice.org or Onza Plata XYZ or whatever that is. Right? Jimmy G says, oh, thank you again for the $2 super chat. Muchas gracias. Thank you for the addition there. Thanks. I'm fully set to move. Hope all goes well. It will, man. It will. I promise. Again, knock on wood, right? Everything does go well, but I think it will. That's the thing that, a lot of people eventually realize, is that it's really not as difficult as they make it out, make it seem to be or whatever. There's other difficulties that people just don't talk about. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are worried about, all these other things that they, really, once they get to Mexico, they realize they shouldn't have been worried about it to begin with. Again, a lot of Americans, are constantly afraid of Mexico. Oh, that there's violence in Mexico, that, there's a lot of crime in Mexico. And it's like, listen, man, if you're coming from a major city in the USA these days, you got absolutely nothing to worry about. If anything, you're the danger out here, okay? You're the one that people should be afraid of with your attitude, or, how, you present yourself out here, as opposed to, how Mexicans are, on a daily basis, and how people live out here in Mexico. It's not that dangerous. It really isn't. Obviously there are dangerous areas. Obviously there's, situations, with the cartel in certain areas, but for the most part, it's extremely safe. Are you serious right now? You never see bums on the street. You never see drug addicts on the street. You never see, just random acts of violence. You never see, shootouts. You never see any of that stuff, ever. But you see that in the USA daily, So what's really more dangerous? Think about it. So, I don't know, a lot of you guys don't really have to think about it. You guys already know. But, it is what it is. So, yeah. But yeah, living in Mexico is great. But anyways, going back to the topic of today, why is it so difficult? So, another reason why, moving to Mexico is so difficult, even though so many of you guys want to move to Mexico. Okay, you do. There's so many of you guys out there that want to move to Mexico. Just like, a lot of you guys might want to quit taking a drug, or you guys might want to quit, or you guys might want to lose weight or get in shape. But the reason you don't do it is because in order for you to lose weight, it's going to get uncomfortable very quickly. It's going to be difficult to do it. And for a lot of people, sure, they might have the thought, the desire, the want to move to Mexico, but when it comes down to it, they just don't do it. They just don't put the work in. They don't do what they got to do to make it happen. That's also why it's expensive. And so a lot of people out there, they are always constantly using excuses, okay? And these excuses, are, easy, are an easy out, okay? An easy reason. Again, an excuse, for them not to do what they want to do, all right? Oh, I'll start the diet next week. Oh, I can't start the diet now, or I can't stop doing my drugs or drinking now because I'm under so much stress. Whatever. Same thing. Oh, I can't move to Mexico because blah, blah, blah. Oh, I got to wait until this happens before I move to Mexico. Oh, I got to this. Oh, I got to that. And all it is just people making excuses because they don't want to put in that work because it's not easy. It's not easy. All right? It's just not. It doesn't matter what it is. Again, like I said, even if you're just moving across town, it's not easy. Imagine moving to another country. Now, the less you have, the easier it is. Meaning that if you, like me, when I moved to Mexico 6 years ago, I had nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. All right? And that actually made it easier for me because, well, I fit my whole life in a couple of suitcases, in a couple of bags. All right? Trash bags, basically. All right? It's a bunch of trash. But anyways, no, but, and I was working and living off of laptop. Okay? And so, obviously, it was a lot easier for me to pick up and move. But like right now, let's say that I want to move to another part of Mexico. It's going to be a lot more difficult for me because, I got all this stuff that I've accumulated in the 6 years that I've been here, after being married for, 4+ years. Yeah, I know, it's been that long already. Kind of crazy, right? And so on and so forth. Well, now I got a bunch of crap. I even got a horse. I mean, come on. Have you tried to move with a horse? And I got a dog. So that makes it even more difficult. But is it doable? Of course it's doable. You know what I mean? Do I want to do it? That's another question. So it's the same kind of thing. Obviously the more stuff you have, the more crap you have, the more difficult of a move it's going to be. The less you have, well, the easier it's going to be. Okay? So you got to also remember that. This is all these, tangibles, all these things, that people just never really talk about. They really never understand. And again, I want to keep going back over and over and over and over again. Why is it you're moving to Mexico? You got to be honest with yourself. You got to really be honest with yourself, okay? Are you looking for freedom? Are you looking for a better way of life? Do you like tacos? Do you want to speak Spanish? Do you like Mexicans and Hispanic people? Listen, if the answer is yes, then you'll love it out here. But if you're only looking in moving to Mexico to save a few bucks, okay, to get away from this president or that president or whatever bull crap you want to tell yourself, listen, you're not going to be happy out here either. Okay? You got to be happy with yourself. Okay? You got to do a lot of introspection with yourself. Okay? You got to do a lot of that work on yourself that you don't get paid for. By the way, don't forget to hit the likes if you're enjoying this video. Thank you, AI, an algorithm. But anyways, you got to do all that work on yourself first, okay, before you make any crazy decisions, thinking that, I'm going to move to Mexico and it's going to solve all my problems. It's not. That's not how things work, okay? You got to work on yourself. You got to do things, okay, that, again, are difficult. And that's the thing with today's society, especially American society these days, is that people don't want to do anything difficult. They want everything easy. They want everything presented to them. They want everything given to them. They want everything to just be, again, handed to them, easy. And in American society, in which, again, you can call the cops on anybody for any, anytime you're bothered by anything, or you can just ask the government for any kind of handout or help or whatever it is. Well, yeah, of course, moving to Mexico, you're not going to be able to get your EBT card. You're not going to be able to, call Uncle Sam to help you out with XYZ. You're not going to be able to call the cops because your neighbor's, too loud. No, none of that. So, that's the thing. A lot of people are just moving to Mexico thinking that it's just like, again, moving to another part of the USA, and it's not. It's another country, another culture, another, again, paradigm, another dimension, whatever you want to call it, is different. And, for some of you guys, it's going to be very easy to embrace. But for a lot of you guys, it's going to be extremely difficult, to the point where, well, a lot of Americans that move to Mexico end up leaving or moving back, okay, to the USA with their tail between their legs, because they couldn't hack it. They couldn't handle it out here. And they make all kinds of excuses. Oh, it's too hot. Like, for example, where I live. Oh, it's too hot in Merida. Bro, have you been to Phoenix, Arizona? Are you kidding me right now? Are you serious? Yeah, it's 105 degrees out here right now. But you know what? I got the beach right there. Okay? I got cenotes, underground watering holes. I could literally open the hose and, hose myself down. Hose down, all right? But, try in Arizona, what do you got? You got nothing. Okay? And people live there happily or unhappily, whatever. But again, it's just, when people make all these stupid ass excuses as to why they couldn't hack it, they couldn't handle Mexico. Oh, Mexico's too expensive. Well, again, like I was saying, it all depends on you. Okay? Because I'm paying $350 for a house. But some people out there, they're paying, $1,500 for the same house. Okay? Just because they don't want to do their homework. They don't want to do their due diligence. They don't want to assimilate. They don't want to do all these difficult things that are necessary when you're moving somewhere else. My advice to a lot of people that think that they can handle moving to Mexico is that, the first thing you should do, especially if you're coming from, Fargo, North Dakota, or wherever you're coming from, try moving into the Hispanic part of town. Try moving into the Mexican or the Latino part of your town or your area, and see if you can handle it there. Okay? See if you can handle it there first. Okay? If you can handle it in the Latino neighborhood, okay, in, wherever you're at, then yeah, you'll probably be totally fine out here. But if you cannot handle Latinos that are already living in the USA, what the hell makes you think that you're going to be able to handle anything out here? And the cultural differences out here, and how people are out here, and how they don't really give a crap about you complaining about whatever it is you're complaining about. Okay? So, it's just so many things, you know what I mean? Now, for someone like me, and some of you guys out there, you guys are tired of the toxicity of the USA. You guys are tired of Karens everywhere. You guys are tired of, having no freedom, living in tyranny, getting shot at by the cops for no reason. Whatever it is. Listen, you come to Mexico and you're in paradise. You're in paradise, okay? But for some of you guys out there that are bootlickers, that are Karens, that, are, the problem in the USA, well, yeah, you're going to hate it out here. You're going to hate it. And I hope you do. Stay where you're at. Don't come out here. We don't want you here, all right? This is, this has been brought to you by the Mexican Board of Tourism or whatever, okay? No, but seriously, man, come on. Look, when I came out here originally 6 years ago was because, look, I needed a place to stay. Like I said, I was about to live on the street, and I found that, hey, I had a better living option in Mexico. I could afford to live there and follow my dream of being a YouTuber, whatever, all right? And I could do that by moving to Mexico. And I did, okay? But as the years have gone on, It's not really about the money anymore. Why I live here and why I will continue to live here. It's not about the money. It's about the way of life. It's about the quality of life. It's about the way things are done out here. It's about so many other things. Okay? And as the USA, my homeland, all right? Okay? As this keeps getting worse, I mean, are you kidding me? Why would I go back? My family asked me. By the way, my family, just like friends, they come out here, they see how happy I am, they see, what an amazing life I live, all these things. And at the same time, they're complaining about how bad things are in the USA and how miserable they are. But yet, they're always telling me, hey, so when are you coming back to the USA? Or they'll even ask Christian behind my back, all right. Hey, so when are you gonna, what is it? Why don't you, what is it? Convince Jose to come move to the USA? Don't you want to come and live in the USA? Don't you want to get your green card? Don't you want to this? And it's like, no, we don't want any of that. Are you kidding me? Why would we want to go live over there? There's absolutely no benefit to living in the USA these days. Maybe 30 years ago, 20 years ago, but not these days. Again, even for a typical Mexican like my wife, she has so many better opportunities staying home, staying here. Why go over there? So, but yeah, no, I mean, it is, these are things that you really gotta, think about before you move out here, because this is why for so many people out there, it's actually very difficult to move out to Mexico, not just to move out here, but to continue living out here. Okay? And, for me, as things in Mexico keep getting more expensive, I'm just like, well, hey, listen, that is just the price of admission. It is what it is. I'm not complaining at all. In fact, I feel blessed that I get to be living in this amazing country. I feel, honored and happy. And, again, ecstatic about the fact that, Mexico's economy is growing so much that, of course, things are getting more expensive. And at the same time, now I'm the poor bum out here, and the typical poor bum Mexican is actually doing better than me. Yeah, great. Good. When I first moved here, someone driving a taxi cab or an Uber was not making that much money. And now they're making, what I'm making or more. All right, it's making me want to start driving Uber out here just for the, hell of it. Which you never know, by the way. All right, that would be some good content, huh? Me driving around Uber, right? But I digress. Okay. At the end of the day, the reality is that. Mexico, sure, things are getting expensive out here, but when you just simply compare them to how expensive they are in the USA, it's no comparison at all. Mexico is still extremely affordable. Again, if you keep things simple, if you want to live the exact American lifestyle that you're living, it's going to get expensive. Of course you can have $800 car notes out here. Of course you can pay $3,000 in rent out here. Of course you can pay, $75 US for your phone bill. But, if you're a little bit more humble, if you're a little bit more frugal, if you care about other things other things like, freedom, quality of life, and so on and so forth, instead of shiny things, hey, I got a shiny new home. I got a shiny new phone. I got a shiny new car. If you worry about, the important things instead of the unimportant things, then you'll be fine. You can pay $350 in rent or $400 in rent. You can pay $10 to $12, for your phone bill. You can pay $30, $35 for your internet. Okay? You can buy a car for $1,500. But that's up to you. Okay? It's all up to you. And so, at the end of the day, the one thing I like to emphasize a lot on this channel is that, everything is up to you. I can sit here and not just me. how many, by the way, when I first moved out here, there was like 5 YouTube channels, okay, total, talking about living in Mexico. Today, there's like 500, okay, YouTube channels. So today, as of right now, there's no excuses, okay? You got all the information you're going to need and want, okay, at your fingertips, okay? Like, seriously, okay? I got a certain channel and I give certain information on this channel, but there's a bunch of other channels out there that give really good information and really good stuff. Some don't, some do, whatever. But the point I'm making is that, the excuse of like, oh, I don't have the information, or I don't know how things are anymore, or I don't know how things are over there, that's not an excuse anymore. Like I said, there are Facebook groups, there are blogs, there are YouTube channels. There's a plethora of information out there, okay? You have everything you could need and then some, okay? On what you need to do or need to move out here. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's up to you, okay? What are you going to do with all that information? You can read, 100 books on swimming. But at the end of the day, if you want to learn how to swim, you got to go and take a dive into the pool, into the ocean, and swim. And physically do it. It's the same thing. Okay? It's the same thing with everything here. All right? And again, part of that is being honest with yourself and saying, hey, is moving to Mexico the right choice for me, the right decision for me? Perhaps it could be something else. Perhaps it could be moving elsewhere. Could be, probably all you need to do is leave the city you're in or the state you're in and move somewhere else. I don't know. Only you know. Only you know what you want. Only you know what's best for you. Only you know. So be honest with yourself. Moving to Mexico, just like moving to Thailand, comes with its difficulties. Okay? So, for example, why was it easy for me? Because I know Spanish. My first language was Spanish. I learned English in school. Okay? So obviously when I came out here, well, I already had a leg up. I already spoke the language. Got nothing to worry about when it came to that. So obviously things were a lot easier for me. All right? So that was a major component to my decision in moving to Mexico. All right? So you got to also understand that if you don't know Spanish, well, you're going to probably have to learn Spanish. Again, it's not necessary. Okay? It's not. My mom has been living in the USA for over 50 years, and she doesn't speak English. But of course, her world, okay, is very limited because of that. All right? So it's the same thing. You come out here and you don't know Spanish. Yeah, of course you'll live and you'll survive, and you can probably be here 20 years or longer without ever knowing Spanish. But, are you going to have but is it going to be easier for you than if you actually knew Spanish? Of course not. If you know Spanish, you know the language, you know the culture, you know a bunch of little things like that. You take the time, the effort, you have the want and the desire to do so, to integrate, to assimilate, you'll be fine. You're going to have a great time. You're going to love it out here. But if you don't do that, and you're kicking and screaming about the fact that you got to learn Spanish, or that you got to all of a sudden now get used to your noisy Mexican neighbors, or whatever it is, then you're going to freaking hate it out here. Okay? So you got to really, again, be honest with yourself as to why it is you're moving out here, or what is it you want, with your life. What is it that you're looking for? Okay? So, it's more than just, hey, I'm moving to Mexico to save a few bucks. Okay? I know people just try to simplify it as much as they can, but no, listen, if you're moving to Mexico, you're basically turning your world upside down. Now, if your world is already upside down where you're at in the USA, well then, maybe moving to Mexico will turn your world right side up. Okay? So, again, there's just so many variables here. And for anyone to just, flat out tell you to your face that, oh, yeah, it's easy. All you got to do is follow these steps or read this book or follow this guide and you'll be fine out here. Listen, they're lying to you, okay? They're straight up lying to you, all right? Like I said, go hang out in the Mexican or Latino neighborhood in your city and see if you like it out there. And if you do, you'll like it out here. If you don't, what makes you think that you're going to love it out here? I mean, come on now. Jeez. So, and by the way, a lot of people complain about noise in Mexico. Look, I don't know, but for me, it was a lot louder in the USA. I guess I lived in certain areas that were louder, but it's not that loud out here, Certain areas are loud, but not all of it. But anyways. All right, guys. I think I'm going to start wrapping this bad boy up. We've been going on for an hour and 20 minutes. I have not taken a breath in an hour and 20 minutes. That has to be some sort of Guinness World Record, right? I've been just yapping without breathing, I know, right? So. Bruh. Anyways, guys. So, I was going to give a big shout out to all of you guys out there. I really appreciate you guys out there in the chat. Again, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Coffee. Let me see. Let me read some comments here. See if there's anything else. Any comments or any whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many things that you guys have to look into that is, a lot of people are just overlooking and they're not really taking into account. And, there's a lot of channels out there. I'm not going to name any channels, whatever. But there's a lot of channels out there that like to, what is display the beauty of Mexico, which I love. I love Mexico. I love, I do it myself. I'm always trying to show you guys how beautiful and amazing it is out here. But, they fail to, bring up the fact that a lot of these areas that are desirable are expensive. And why are they expensive? Because they're desirable. It's as simple as that. Okay? So it's like, if you go to Cancun, a touristy area, all right, and you're in the resort area, and that's the only thing it's going to be expensive. Everything's going to be extremely expensive, even more expensive than you can imagine. But how are things going to get less expensive for you? Well, you got to go out there and live in the places that don't have a YouTube video about them. Okay? Just to give you an example. All right? You got to go off the beaten path. All right? You got to get uncomfortable before you can get comfortable. And so on and so forth. It's a lot of layers to this. But if you're moving to, a lot of these places where they're full of expats, full of foreigners, full of tourists, full of whatever, sure, it might be easier to transition, but that comes at a cost. Not just a financial, monetary cost, but also at a cost of the fact that, well, now you're in your little bubble there, as opposed to, really experiencing and taking full advantage of, what an amazing life you can have out here in Mexico. So, all right, guys, I'm going to leave it there because, I could just go on and on and on and on. All right. And I'm already, starting to lose my, my voice. And I still got, another video. I still got another live stream to shoot. So again, guys, if you guys enjoyed today's chat, if you guys enjoyed today's video and you guys want, to hang out with me further, please check out my other channel, okay? Jose Unleashed, okay? I'm going to put a little link in the chat, okay? And today we're going to be talking about, well, the reality of living in the modern day matrix, all right? So go check it out. I hope to see you guys there, all right? And then, yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. We talk about all kinds of things. I just like to ramble on and talk about, life and talk about all these other things on that channel. On this channel, again, obviously, we're just talking about living in Mexico, what it's like to live in Mexico, the realities of life in Mexico. But over here, I like to just have fun. And even though it says we're going to go live in 1 hour, it's going to be a lot less. All right, we're probably going to go live within 30 minutes. All right, so go over there, check that out, and I hope to see you guys there. And if not, don't worry about it. You know, you can also go to my website, check out my website for all kinds of free information. Again, I don't sell anything. I don't like to sell anything. You know, I would be very wary of people that are selling things, you know, and trying to sell you an idea, trying to sell you something out there. Because the reality is that, you know, in today's world, you really don't, you know, you got to do it. You can do it all yourself, and you can just find all the information yourself. And, you know, I don't want to get into all that. I already talked about it, you know, on the show. But anyways, you can go to my website. You can get all kinds of free resources for living in Mexico, for living in Mérida, Yucatan, you know. And the only thing I do sell is my time. So if anyone out there wants to talk to me one-on-one about whatever, you know, you guys want to have a Zoom call, personalized consultation, you guys can, you know, go to my website and find out how you can do that. You know, you can also support the show. You know, you can click on my links. By the way, you know, I'm starting to write. I hope you guys like to read. I know a lot of you guys do like to read, so I'm starting to write. So again, write about Mexico, life in Mexico, whatever. So again, check out my Substack. All right, check out my Medium. Okay, I'm on Medium. I'm on Substack. Okay, check out my pages there. You know, all the links are all the way at the top right. You know, I even got a clothing store or merchandise store. You guys can check that out in case you want to support the show, whatever you want to do. And buy me a coffee, whatever, YouTube page, Spotify. So all my live streams, I upload to Spotify, okay? So you guys can listen to at your leisure and so on and so forth. But like I said, you know, go to my website and you can find out everything you need to know about moving to Mexico and then some for free. And also get a lot of entertainment value. So check all that out. So with all that being said, guys, you already know the deal, all right? If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon, but more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in 30 minutes on the other channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll see you here on Sunday and on Thursday. Remember, every Sunday I drop a video on this channel, and every Thursday I go live. So I'll see you guys later, alligators. Bye.